All right, y'all. We got Bo Zig in the building. You know what I'm saying? Professional athlete, Detroit Community High School legend. All that and above. So, what's quarantine been like, man? Talk to me about that.
Man, quarantine has been a lot of superstar rankings up in the 2K, man. I started off on an All-Star 2 on my 2K, so I'm trying to get to an All-Star, man. So that basically give you what's going on in the quarantine in a nutshell, man. It's just a lot of isolation, a lot of sleep, a lot of snacking. You know, I got my peanuts right here. You know what I'm saying, for the most part. But other than that, man, just trying to stay away from everybody so this thing will pass.
I feel it. All right, but like I mentioned before, you know, we just gonna touch on a few topics, you know. So basically, starting off, your high school days. You feel me? Nah, I was there. You know, I was a witness. You know, you was killing it a little bit. You know, you was doing your thing or whatever. Nah, like what was that like? You know, like being on the west side of Detroit. You know, going to a small school. I would say, what was that like?
Well, for me, it wasn't that big of an adjustment for me. You know, I was a little nervous going into high school because you know, you never know what to expect. You know, when you're in middle school, your teachers usually tell you about, oh yeah, this is not gonna fly in high school. You got to change your behavior and stuff like that. So, I wasn't the freshest dude coming into high school either, but I knew I could hoop. So I knew if I went in and made the hoop squad and made my name like that, everything else would follow. Plus, I was in my old neighborhood, you know, like 2-3 minutes from where I grew up at, my neighborhood Schoolcraft, Bryant area. So I felt like it was just at home. It wasn't that much of an adjustment for me, so I liked it.
Right. Nah, like you said, you made the hoop squad, right? So what's your favorite memory from high school basketball?
Man, that's a tough one.
Anything, locker room moment, anything.
I would have to say my favorite moments would probably have to be when we would have our competitive moments throughout the team, because we had a pretty decent team. You know, you saw how many guys we had. I would say we had more than just one Division I talent on our team. We had a lot of guys, but we had a lot of scrappy guys, you know, at the same time. So our coach would want us to compete, and that's how we brought the best out of one another. So I would probably have to say my favorite memories was us going shirts and skins and rolling the ball out, and it was just that. Like, all right, what you got? Yeah, who's really like that? Are you really like that? Show me if you really like that. And then just like that, we right back at it, practice next day, going into games. Good thing about my high school team is that we actually used our actual high school team to put it on the AAU circuit. So we played against the top tier talent in the world as a high school team together. So I think that brought our chemistry together. We were able to make a run in the state tournament our senior year before they stripped us our junior year. So I'll just say just the competitiveness of us being around each other and just other being natural competitors and being able to play and challenge each other every day.
Okay. Now, speaking on your state championship run, so for the seniors right now, they currently have that stripped away from them. They can't play in the playoffs no more, so their season is cut short. So if there's any seniors out there that wanted to make that run to the Breds, what was that like? What was that environment like?
I can't even describe it, man. The first game, because, you know, in the championship, it's a semifinal game and it's the final game. Obviously, we lost the country day in the championship game. But the game before, we were able to get past Godwin Heights, and that was just a surreal experience. I was able to get some shoes shipped down from me from USF, these highlighter Under Armour shoes that I thought the world of at the time. But now that I look back on them, they were like some boats. But I was just happy that, you know, we got uniforms for that game, too, because we had just been wearing the same type of uniforms all year. We finally got some new ones, so it was just a fresh feeling. And we went out and we just completely dominated. You know, but it didn't carry over to the next game. But I would probably say my best experience from that is being able to dominate with my brothers on the biggest stage, you know, like the Breslin and Michigan State. So it was definitely exciting to do that.
All right, so your senior year, you know, you're getting all these coaches calling you. You got different things coming in the mail. What was the recruitment process like?
It was crazy. It was overwhelming at some points because it just happened out of nowhere. So, like, I had a few offers freshman and sophomore year, but my junior year is the year that I really started getting on the radar as far as being like one of the top guys in the country. I was in the ESPN Super 60 my junior year, and I think our team was ranked in the state at some point too as well. So I started getting a lot of recognition. So you know how it is. The letters are coming in. The guys want you to come down on a visit. They do at-home visits. You know, they try to meet your parents. They ask the staff about you at your school. So you really got to be on your best behavior because you're like building your reputation, you know, for you to get recruited, and they have money involved in it. So they want to make sure they're picking the right guy for their program. So as far as that, I didn't do anything other out of the ordinary that I wasn't doing before. I made sure I was going to class. I made sure my grades were at least halfway decent to where if I did receive a scholarship, I'd be able to cash in on it. And really just locked in on basketball, That was the year that everything changed for me as far as like getting attention and being able to apply myself on the basketball court and do what I need to do to prepare me for that next level.
Now, a lot of people don't know, man. Class of 2013 was stacked. And me personally, I feel like that's when, after y'all left, that's when high school basketball died. You know what I mean? I mean, it was still some cats, you know, coming out, but after y'all, I just think it died down. And you know, I would watch either you or players like James Young and Vincent Young. I think his last name was Young.
Yes,
Hunter. Yeah. So what was that like? You know, because they really had y'all listed like 1, 2, 3, or it was either you number 2 or 3. What was that like? Like, did you feel like you need to be number 1 in the state, or?
I definitely, you know, I'm never gonna say anyone's better than me, but these are guys that I basically grew up with. So these are like my brothers. So I know things about their game that other people don't necessarily know. You know, and then just seeing them have success after our high school careers, I was able to play against James and Vince in high school. And unfortunately, we lost both of those games. So there wasn't any, we lost to Consortium and at Community, and then we lost to Troy in the Classic, which is where James played, that Classic. So wins count or anything, you know, even if I did have a good game, a double-double, 20 points, 10 rebounds, stuff like that, doesn't really matter if we didn't get the W. But, you know, just not to take anything away from them, though. You know, James and Vince are definitely great players. You know, Vince has had NBA stints and James as well. So, you know, I would never try to put myself in as who's better. But internally, I'm obviously going to say I'm better, for sure. But those are my brothers, man. I wish them the best. It was fun competing against them in college. You know, Vince is more of a attacker, a rim runner, you know, and a finisher in transition and stuff like that. And James is more of a shooter, a slasher. So it's definitely fun playing against them because they bring out the best in your game.
Right. So moving on to college, you went to South Florida, and then you ended up going to George Washington. What were those two colleges like?
Well, I will say South Florida was one of the best experiences that I was able to have. As far as like going in and learning from guys that were ahead of me, because going into the Big East as a freshman, being 180 pounds, I wasn't going to be able to do the things and impose my will like I did in high school. So I think that was something that I really need to focus on for my first year, being a redshirt freshman, and I was able to tackle that and learn as much as I could. And I think that helped me translate to my first actual year of playing basketball, just being under guys like Vic Rudd and Martino Brock, and just getting acclimated to college and how things go, the weight room and conditioning and diet and sleep and managing study hall and classes and all that stuff. So it was definitely a huge learning experience going from high school straight to college and then just getting thrown in the fire. But I think I adjusted pretty well, for sure. At USF, we didn't really run too much, but I was able to get that experience, that playing experience, to get out there and play instead of sitting on the bench like a lot of guys would want to go to the higher major schools like UConn and Cincinnati and places, offers that I did have, but South Florida just seemed like a good fit for me. And plus, I really wanted to get away from home and just leave a lot of the other stuff that I had behind. But for the most part, I think USF was a good experience. Besides the losing, I was able to win a little bit more at George Washington, and that was more of a controlled environment and it allowed me to focus better. But I would say I had a pretty good college career.
Okay. So what did you major in?
I majored in communication and bachelor arts my first year, which is a pretty broad major. It's all the basic things that you can think of, composition, which is like English, math, all the basic stuff, social studies, foreign language, stuff like that. I wanted to be solid in a lot of different areas instead of just solid in one area, if that makes sense. So I think that was a good major for me to have because it helped me a lot with being able to do things like this, like public speaking and broadcasting, and, building my brand and like stuff like that. So I think it helped a lot.
Okay, so you touched on the topic of South Florida, right? What was D1 ball like?
D1 ball is different. It's competitive every day. It's a constant battle for positioning, and it's also a business. Every year in college basketball, things change and things go by. Every year there's a guy coming in at your position.
Right.
So you always have to be on point and putting your best foot forward to make sure that you can contribute to the team. Because if you're not contributing to the team, you're going to get left behind. As far as practice, yeah, that's cool. As far as practice, it's intense. So a typical day in D1 basketball goes like this. Well, for me,
right.
You wake up at 8:30 a.m. You have to be at breakfast before 9:30. Mandatory. You have to eat breakfast. Breakfast is essential to your day. If you don't eat breakfast, you're going to have a horrible day. You're not going to have energy that you need to stay awake in class and be on point in practice. So breakfast is mandatory for us. 8:30 breakfast, eat by 9:30. You got class at 11, so that gives you an hour and 30 minutes before you have to go to your first class, depending on what day it is. 11 class is 11 to 12:15. You got a little break between then. You got study hall, 45 minutes. And then you got practice at 2:30. Practice is from 2:30 to 5:30 between that window every day. That's not included if you have a lift after or before. So 2:30 to 5:30. After that, you have a study hall, mandatory study hall, 7 to 8 p.m. And then you have at least 2 or 3 hour window before you have to go to sleep and do the same thing again the next day. So when people ask about what D1 was like, it was an everyday thing. Every day you have to put the necessary steps forward to take care of your body, your strength, and your health. Because if you don't and you fall too far behind, you're liable to fall apart.
Right. Now, growing up as a hooper, what was your favorite defense to run, and what was your favorite defense to go against? Like, if you seen a team come out in a certain defense, you knew you was eating all night. What's your favorite defense to go against?
My favorite defense to go against in high school was definitely a full court press because usually the bigger guys obviously would have been the bigger guy in high school. We get put in the back. So I had good enough guards in high school that they were able to break the press. And once you break the press, all you have to do is make a solid pass to either one of the wings. And me being tailored to my strengths, I'm taking off and I'm finishing. But a defense that I wouldn't necessarily like to play against is a zone defense because you can't control where you're going to get the ball on the floor. You only have a certain area to where you're going to be able to get the ball, whether it's 3-point, free throw line extended, or a deep corner, if you're a big guy like me in high school. But when you get to college, you definitely want to play against the zone because when you're in college, you're going to be tailored around your own strengths, and then you have to coexist with other people around you. So if I get the ball in the short corner, I know exactly where each person is going to go and where my shot is going to be at. In high school, everyone's just shooting and doing whatever they want to do. Right? If I were to pick, I would probably have to say if a team presses us in high school or college, that plays to my advantage because all I need is one burst of speed and I'm past the defense. I'm able to finish or get fouled or make a play for somebody else. So if you press us, I start smiling on the inside.
Right. So all your life, who you felt like gave you work in ball?
Gave me work? Who gave me work?
Or who do you feel like you gave work to? Or both, actually.
Man, when you're in a competitive setting, it's so many times where you just coming across competition and you give it to them, they're giving it to you. And it's just, you don't even think about it anymore. But if I will say, I have a very, very vivid memory of 15 straight points ran on me by Victor Rudd. I don't know if you heard of him. He's from California, plays professional and played a little bit of pro too. He was a senior at USF when I came in as a freshman. And we had this drill called the gauntlet drill. So you're the guy in the middle of the court, and the offensive players on the wing, and they roll the ball out, and it's just one-on-one live basically from there. So you got to close out from there and then play defense until you get a stop. When I tell you I was on defense for like 3 minutes in a row, trying to get a stop, contesting his shots, he hitting fadeaways, knee in my chest, driving me, bullying me, shooting over me, shooting floaters. But I will give respect to Big Red for sure. He gave me buckets. But I gave out a lot of buckets too. Right. But that's just got it. I could probably say that gave me buckets. I think a lot of people can attest to that too, for sure. Okay. Big Red. Shout out Big Red, man.
Oh, yeah. So you ended up going pro, right? What was that like? Coming from the city of Detroit, and essentially your dream of playing ball to go pro. What was that like?
It was hard. It was definitely hard. I won't say like it was easy, and like there were days where I felt like, oh yeah, this is definitely what I want to do. But once I got over there and I was able to just get in my zone and get back to where I was, and like I just think about all the stuff that I had been through with basketball, it made the transition that much easier for me, because in a pro setting, things are much more simplified. And the environment is a lot less controlled, to where you're liable to do anything as long as you stay within the means of the team. And it's more of a business thing too. So you just come every day, you get your work done with the team, and then you get your work in after practice, and then it will translate to the game. So I think that's one of the things that really separated me in my first pro year from the first few months, getting that extra work in. But some days I would just go home and rest, compared to every day getting my work in, getting my free throws in, getting some floaters, getting some three-pointers, stuff like that, some extra ball handling. I think that translated much more. But I think that translates to anything. High school, college, pro. If anybody's watching, I would definitely say just make sure you're getting your work in and investing in yourself and building a good habit and doing the things and working on the things that you're really good at and perfecting those, and then also working on your weaknesses as well. So being in a pro setting, things are much less controlled. So like I said, it was much easier for me to thrive in that setting than a college setting. But it's all a blessing to be playing basketball either way.
Right. So what was the business side like of playing professional ball?
Oh, man, business side. It's like a good in service, basically. So it's like basically having a job. So if you have a job, let's say you have a job at Target, and your job is to load the boxes and stuff like that. If you're not doing it at a high level, you get fired. Right. And I think that's the thing when I try to say that it's a business as far as that. If you're not doing exactly what's asked of you, or if not more, doing something that's asked of you, then you're liable to lose your job. So I just think that's every day, every game, every practice, your job is on the line. Like everything that you do is magnified, so you have to make sure you're doing it to the best of your ability every single day. And I think that's something that everyone can't do. Everyone can't focus on one task and be able to do a simple task over and over and over again at a high level. And I just think that's in a nutshell what pro basketball is all about.
Right. So knowing the business side of basketball, right? When you see cats in the NBA make certain moves, do you feel like you understand it, or like where it's coming from in terms of like players taking control of what, like the narrative, what they want to be around? Is that kind of like has the business side opened your eyes as to why players would like to control like their own destiny?
Yeah, I just think guys are realizing that we're all we got, and if we don't provide this service to these kind of people, then we're out of a job. So we need to start putting plans in motion to help us and the others around us too. So we have a national players committee, we have a board, we have a board of directors of guys from former players. Mm-hmm. It's like this all around the globe with basketball. There are ambassadors all over the place to try to help put things in place to where we're able to thrive in basketball after we're done giving all of ourselves to it. And so we got pensions, we got free health care for veterans and stuff. And I think they just passed a law that if you played in the league for at least 5 years, you get an automatic pension or free health care and stuff like that. So that's the thing where I think guys are trying to take control of their own narrative and their own journey when it comes to basketball, because like if you give your everything to the game for 15 years and you don't save your money, you end up being asked out when it's time for you to look around. It's time for you to get a job. It's time for you to settle on a mortgage or pay off your credit cards and stuff. Everything that you gave to the game, you're not getting anything back. So I think that's why guys are trying to take control of that.
All right, bet. So now we finna get into some of your favorites, right? What's your favorite hoop shoe?
Favorite hoop shoe? Easily Kobe's. Kobe's got to be on my favorite. Rest in peace, Kobe, man. They are... Man, I was just thinking about that, man. It's crazy to see that Kobe's gone. But yeah, for sure, Kobe's. They light. They got a lot of support around the ankle area. Pre-Achilles before that. But yeah, for sure, Kobe's all day. I had some of my best games and best athletic plays in Kobe shoes for sure to this day. Kobe's.
Yeah, so you brought up Kobe, man. Go ahead and speak on it. What was Kobe like to you?
Man, Kobe was the same for me as it was for you, basically. But I think I was able to see a little bit more of Kobe than you. Just a little bit, though. But just when you think about it, like when you balling up a can of paper or something and throwing it in the can, what do you say? You say Kobe. When you think about the 81-point game, when you thinking about the swag with the walk, having the afro and having the band and having your high socks, you know, and then just being a cold-blooded assassin, shooting fadeaway jumpers. You know, just having a Mamba mentality, that and everything he brought to the game was just crazy to see, just him going like that. Because when you hold somebody to such a high standard and you strive to be like this certain person or even anything like them, and then they're just gone like that, it just doesn't, you can't process it. Because people like that, like Muhammad Ali and all these great figures and Will Smith and Bernie Mac, all these great people that we just grown to know and feel like we actually know them, even though we don't see them gone. It's just like it like cuts you in half. But
yeah, for me it was like Kobe. When I watched Kobe, you know, he made me fall in love with the game. Whether that was him going against the Pistons in 2004, or like you said, dropping 81. I didn't see much of younger Kobe, so I pretty much got like the middle towards the end of it. But like you said, that Mamba mentality was installed, you know. But I used to think like athletes, they travel so much, and just the way he passed, I never thought that athletes can be put in that situation. You know what I mean? And it sucks.
We put in that situation a lot. I can't tell you. I've been on over. I don't even want to. I want to say at least 4 years of college, 5 years of college basketball. I've probably been on at least 200. I want to say 250 plus flights, right. And you never know. Like, even though it's scientifically proven that a airplane or aircraft is like 99% proven to land at his destination, you just never know. You know, this life is crazy. You know, you never know. I don't think Kobe thought when he got on that helicopter with his daughter and the 7 other people that were on there that this was going to be his last ride. Like, I don't think about it like that. You know, and I'm terrified of heights. And still to this day, when I get on airplanes and we would charter back after our games on a smaller jet, and then when you hit that wind and those clouds and stuff like that, and the plane drops, you just like, oh man. So now I'm just gonna be thinking about Kobe and stuff like that. So, but you just gotta keep the faith, man, and keep a positive mindset, and hopefully you'll make it through whatever it is you're trying to make it through, man. But you got no control over what happens in life, man. You just gotta put your best foot forward.
Oh yeah. Rest in peace, Kobe, man. R.I.P. Gigi, of course. So, what's your favorite hoop movie?
Man, who?
You know what I feel like you're gonna say? I feel like you're gonna say White Men Can't Jump.
No. That's a good one though. That's probably my dad's favorite one. But me, I'll probably have to say my favorite one is Above the Rim.
Yeah.
It's a classic one for me, man. When they got the ending part, man, he hit the jumper for the game, and then they play the regulators. Yeah, that was a classic one for me, man. Shep, shadow dribbling. Bernie Mac was in that movie too, man. Dwayne, I think it was Dwayne something. I forget his name. Marlon Wayans. Mm-hmm. Tupac was in it, man. Yeah, that was a classic, man. And it's just, that's kind of like tailored to my life, basically, growing up in the hood, not necessarily having an older brother, but having a lot of influences around me too.
Now look, wait on that, because I want to touch on that. That's actually one of my next few questions is influences. But, who's your favorite player and why?
You know what? My favorite player today is Kevin Durant, but my favorite player of all time would have to be Kevin Garnett for sure. KG, easily.
Okay, do you feel like you shaped your game after any one of them?
Yeah, for sure. In the early stages of my career and playing basketball at a young age, I definitely wanted to be just like KG. I wanted to catch the ball on the block, do a turnaround, fade away off the glass. I wanted to post, do a shimmy shake, do a fade away. I wanted to dunk. I wanted to block people's shots and scream at them. I wanted to dive on the floor and slob and do all that crazy stuff, beat my chest, scream at people. I wanted to be exactly like that.
Right.
But when I was younger, I grew pretty fast at a young age. So I was taller than literally everyone at so young. I was 6 foot in the 5th grade. I ended up being 6'5" by the time I was 13 and 14. People used to ask me, how old are you? And I was super tall. I hit my growth spurt early. And I found myself like KG. KG can handle the ball a little bit, but he's not really a ball handler. Right. With me being my peak height now, which is 6'6", I have to learn how to put the ball on the floor and be creative and create my own shot at the dribble, which is when I started tailoring my game after Kevin Durant. Being able to do everything, play in the post, play on the perimeter, bring the ball up, play in the pick and roll, all that stuff. I wanted to be like that, so then I started tailoring my game after that. But naturally, I feel like I'm more of an athletic finisher kind of guy, so where I could play in transition and play up in the rim. I feel like I could definitely handle the ball and run and pick and roll and stuff, but in this day and age where guys are trying to get paid, I'm trying to get paid doing what I do best,
right.
So, yeah.
So, when you watch high school basketball nowadays, right, you watch the mixtapes of the Imani Bates, the Mikey Williams, Jalen Green, all those guys, right? If you feel like you have to play them, right, you walk into the gym and you got to play them, what's in your mind? Like, how do you play against that?
You know what? I will say it would be difficult to guard any of these guys in high school, because in high school you had the ultimate green light and you have literally no restrictions, and then when I felt like I was at my best in high school when I just didn't plan anything at all. I would just do anything that came to my mind. So those guys are just out there being creative. They work on drills a lot with their pops and their family members and stuff like that. So then when they get into the game, they're ready to unleash it. That's the same way I felt about it. And I didn't see anyone in front of me. I didn't see the other team. I didn't see my teammates. All I saw was me getting buckets and putting on the show. So I think that's the thing that separates the younger guys from now. They just are simply, their mindset is just to put on the show, shoot as many fadeaway threes and one-legged step backs and dunk on people as much as possible. And I think back then it was just more about, when I was in high school, about playing the right way and being efficient. Right. 10, 15 shots and making 12 of them, making all your free throws, having 1 or 2 turnovers. Right. And now, Melo Ball score 100-plus points in the game, cherry picking and shooting threes. It's all about, the performance based on the efficiency.
So as a coach, right, do you go in and tell your kids, like, we gonna clamp him. He's not getting 50 on us. Make somebody else beat him.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. So, what defense are you running, though?
We are, man, you know what, man? It's just so different now so now that I've gained all this experience in the pro setting and then the college setting as well, how to stop someone. Because when you're a professional player, you're especially good at one particular thing. So we want to try to take that away from you. You look at your strengths. So if I were to say, I want to guard. Don't want to let LaMelo Ball get 50 on me. I'm trapping all the ball screens.
Yep.
I'm sending the double to him after all ball screens. I'm shading him to his right hand because he likes to go left to pull up, and he likes to go right to step back. So it's just little small things that you would have to do to try to take away a guy's strength. And those things that you learn when you're in a pro setting, when you have no other choice but to try to take something away. You won't be able to take everything away. You won't be able to stop him shooting transition threes. You won't be able to stop him getting to the line. But if you take 1 or 2 or 3 things away from his game that he is especially good at, it would throw a lot of things off. So maybe he'll finish with 18 points instead of 26 points. Right. It's all about trying to limit little things to where guys aren't able to be comfortable in their sweet spots. Fouling them, pushing them, stuff like that.
Right. But even then, if he drops like 20, ball his life or try to fix it, or like he just dropped 20. No, he actually went like, 9 for 18 from the, with 7 turnovers. But, like you said, you just got to take a few things away. You're not going to take everything away, but try to take a few things away. Now, you touched on influence, right? Who's somebody you feel like had an influence on you? Like, it don't even have to be basketball related or just anything. Who you feel like had an influence on you?
I'd definitely say my dad and my older cousin, Trey Zeigler, who played professional basketball too as well. He was a little older than me at the time, but he was like the staple of what I wanted to be, as a guy. Like, I even tried to even walk like this dude, like... He had all the girls. He had a nice car. He was hooping and he was killing, and we are the same. Like, we got the same last name. We got the same blood. So seeing him be able to do that inspired me to be like, oh, well, I could do it, but I could do it in my own way. Right. I could be myself, but I could be just like him, basically. So seeing him and seeing all the success he had, and seeing where he, had some bumps in the road at too, also helped me be able to try to, not making the same mistakes, but also try to have the same success that he had, if that makes sense. So trying to strive to be better than him, if not as good as him, helped me be where I'm at today.
Right. So, if anything, how much influence do you feel like you had on Omar? So, if anybody don't know, Omar Zeigler, he currently hoops for MLK, and I believe he's a sophomore.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's been killing it from what I've been seeing. Really unguardable, pretty much, to be honest. But how do you feel like, or have you had any influence on him, if you know?
Well, I got a chance to see him play a few times in college. Well, not in college, in high school. So what I see about him is that he definitely has a natural God-given family athleticism that we all have, for sure. And the good thing about Omar that I love about his game is that he's a dog.
Oh, yeah.
He's naturally a dog. He played a little bit of football, too, as well. So toughness will never, ever, ever be a factor when it comes to him in his game. You don't have to turn him up.
Right.
You have to turn him down before you turn him up. And I always want to have a guy on my team like that. But seeing him now and then thinking about how I was in high school, there was a lot of things that I didn't know about the game that you won't know until you get to the next level. So I think the influence I had on him for sure is just my intensity and the way because I see so much of myself in him after I get a dunk or a lob, how I'm talking to people, how I'm talking to my teammates, and I'm trying to talk to the crowd. I'm trying to prove myself to let people know because they're sleeping. I feel like people slept on me. As much attention that I got in high school, I still felt like I was slept on. I still feel like he feels like he's slept on at this point. So he has a chip on his shoulder. So that's the thing I love about watching him play. He plays like he has a chip on his shoulder. He always has something to prove. And I think that's something that's going to carry him a long way. He's going to have a real successful career ahead of him for sure.
Without a doubt. I ain't going to take up too much of your time. I got one more question for you. What's next for Bo Zig?
Man, what's next for Bo Zig is the quarantine and get healthy and make sure none of my loved ones and none of my family members contract this virus, man. And then hopefully around the summertime when the heats up a little bit and the virus won't be able to stay around in the air and everybody takes the necessary precautions to wash their hands and stuff like that, then I'll be right back doing what I need to do, man, which is being on that court, inspiring, and doing what I love to do, man. That's what being on that court and being around my teammates and having a positive impact on my community and just staying close-knit with my family and the people that I love, man. For sure,
without a doubt. Well, I appreciate you coming through, man. I know you're a very busy guy, but this quarantine got you sitting down for a minute.
Sit down.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt, man. But, yeah, man, I appreciate you coming through, man. Tell Pops I said what up. Continue to take care of yourself, man.
Yes, sir, man. You too. Appreciate you for having me.
For sure, for sure.